just the other day we were on watching TV and there was an island for sale, and I said, that'd be cool to live on an island, and Bruce said, we do. We live in Mitchell. My it's Vicky Jones, and my husband and I and my family have moved to Mitchell 10 years ago. My husband and I always wanted to have our own cattle property, and in our early 30s we couldn't see a way where we would have our own cattle property if we didn't make the move and go and do it for ourselves. He got a compass out and drew a circle 30 k's around Mitchell and on a map and said, well, we need to be within driving distance for our kids. What's for sale in this? And this was it. This was all there was at that stage. So yeah, that's how it happened. QMDC's biggest thing was the grazing for profit for us. Our biggest turnaround was to have that funded, and had they not funded it, we may never have done it. And had we never have done it, we probably would not be here. We did a bit of investigating and leased 80,000 acres south of Mangalawa. Before we even leased that country, we actually had done grazing for profit. And I suppose we went to those meetings hoping that the people in those meetings were going to tell us what a good idea it was and not blow our dream, because that was our dream. You have a meeting with this advisory board 3 times a year. So we were actually doing our figures every 3 months. So we could see that we were going backwards before the bank could even see it. And so the best thing about being in that group at that time was that they saw our figures halfway through, because we had a 3-year thing, and said, it's not working, you've got to do something about it. There was another drought at the end of 2009. And we sold most of our herd at a reduced price on the Friday in December, and then on Saturday we got about 5 or 6 inches of rain. And we had our meetings, which we do in the creek bed. And said, well, righto, we've done that, that didn't work. We now have to dig ourselves out of this hole, what do we do now? Because our dream was to have a cattle property, and one big enough to support us so that we didn't have to have an off-farm income. And we thought the scale was the answer. However, with scale, everything's bigger, as in the debt's bigger. So that wasn't the answer. So we said, well, we have to make what we have better. So Ullindale Park is what we have. So with the principles of what we'd learnt at Grazing for Profit, we split up our paddocks and increased our waters, put a feral fence around 2 sides, and the other side had already been fenced for goats, so there was a bit of a hinge joint fence on there already. And thought that for us with our business, we needed to do more of a trade cattle side of thing. With the rotational grazing, we just noticed from set stocking that because the paddocks are allowed to be rested, every paddock has 12 months rest. We noticed there was extra grasses coming up, there was spaces that were filling in because you don't have this constant nibbling of that grass being, like once it starts to grow, if the cattle are there, they'll just bite it off. And I think things happen that you don't know is going to happen until it's happened, and you go, oh my God, I would never have thought of that. That's amazing. And then, because even Bruce didn't get it, like initially, because I'm like, there's a seed, there's plant here, there's plant there, there's plant there, and there's this much space in the middle. So now that's all covered in seed. We have always been interested in the land and the soils and what we can do to make things better. In Oakey, we never really had an opportunity to join a Landcare, and while we were in the motel we had no reason to until we left the motel and had our own bit of country, and we thought, we have something here, we wanted to see what we can do, and these people might be the ones that can help us do that. An opportunity came up to buy a business in town so that we can hopefully get a bit of money behind us so that when we do step out and do it again, we've actually got a cash flow to do that with. We'd learnt the lesson of using our equity to live off, and that only made it worse. We've got to preserve what we have and then go and do something else about living or for the future or whatever we want to do. A fence is a fence without education behind it, but with education behind it, it actually can be sustainable.